Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, hosting Cruz. Guys, I am here to talk about some sad news, ladies and gentlemen. Found it out this morning, as we all found it out, that one of the greatest Mexican ring warriors in the history of the sport has tragically and unfortunately passed away at the age of 46. Former world champion, ladies and gentlemen, former three-time world champion, Israel El Magnifico Vazquez. I've been watching boxing, ladies and gentlemen, for over 12 years now, since 2011, 2010. I've been watching boxing ever since, and Israel Vasquez was one of those fighters that made me like boxing, watching boxing, because he was exciting to watch, fan friendly, gave it his all, big heart, money's worth. You know, that anytime you bought a ticket or you're at home and you're watching Israel Vasquez fight, you're guaranteed action most of the time, and you're guaranteed not to be disappointed. And I've watched all of Israel Vasquez's fight from fight one till the last. Uh, tremendous, some tremendous fights he's had over his career. Some of the best fights you'll ever see in the history of the sport. Um, of course, if you watch and follow Israel Vasquez's career, you'll know about his epic rivalry with Rafael Marquez, Juan Manuel Marquez's brother, younger brother, Rafael, who's also a Hall of Famer. Um, then Israel Vasquez, besides Rafael, his wars with Rafael, he's had tremendous wars with Oscar Larios. They fought three times. Vasquez knocked him out in the first round in their first fight back when they were prospects. And a few years later down the road, they met again, and Oscar Larios was able to stop Israel in the 12th and final round of their rematch. And then Vasquez came back and stopped him in 3 rounds to um, win the Ring Magazine and WBC Super Bantamweight titles, ladies and gentlemen. Then Israel Vasquez fought Ivan Hernandez and was able to stop him in 4 rounds and retain the Super Bantamweight ring and WBC Bantamweight titles. But what the fight that showed me and introduced me to how big Israel Vasquez's heart is his fight with Johnny Gonzalez, who is a true veteran in Mexican boxing. Tremendous left hook, good punch, tremendous punching power. Asked Abner Morris about that in what was an upset at the time. But it's not about that. It's about Vasquez versus Johnny Gonzalez's fight, ladies and gentlemen. That fight showed me how big of a heart Israel Vasquez has, and the warrior that he was in the ring, man. Because Johnny Gonzalez was practically outboxing Israel Vasquez majority of the time in their fight, and dropping Israel Vasquez not once but twice. And I'm watching the fight like, damn, this is hard. It's tough for Israel, who's getting outboxed, who's got dropped twice, and he had the facial expression like, what am I gonna do? And I'm a fan, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, how can he come back from this? And the next thing you know, the warrior kicked in, The sense of urgency kicked in, and Israel Vasquez is putting hands on Johnny Gonzalez, man, ripping body shots, left hooks, uppercuts, and the sense of urgency, knowing that he's behind on the scorecards, he got dropped twice, and there he is now returning the favor and dropping Johnny Gonzalez. And Johnny Gonzalez is like, how the hell am I on the canvas outboxing, after I was outboxing Israel and dropping him twice? And now I'm on the canvas thinking about my life and do I really want to be in here? And Johnny Gonzalez got stopped. The heart of Israel Vasquez prevailed and was able to stop Johnny Gonzalez in the 10th round of what was a pretty good action fight at the MGM Grand. And that was just the beginning, man. Vasquez had some wars with Oscar Larios. They fought 3 times. Had a war with Johnny Gonzalez. And that was just the beginning because here he is now. The following fight, the next fight, he bumped into Juan Manuel Marquez's brother, Rafael Marquez. And these two guys waged war for 4 fights. 4 fights. Now, the first 3 were some of the best fights you'll ever see in the history of the sport. Both those 3 fights were the most action-packed, brutal fights. One of the most action-packed and brutal fights you'll ever see in the history of the sport. The first fight was a tremendous back and forth action fight where Rafael Marquez breaking Israel Vasquez's nose to the point that Israel couldn't continue after the 7th round, telling Freddie Roach, who was his trainer at the time, I can't go no more, no mas. And Israel, being the warrior that he was, to tell Freddie Roach, I can't no longer go because my nose is broken, I can't breathe, he must have been in some serious pain. So that fight got stopped, and Rafael was awarded the TKO in the 7th round. Now, Rafael came back in the rematch with a point to prove that he has heart. He was really in pain with that nose being broken. And I can beat Rafael. And with both eyes, both eyelids cut open, blood pouring down from his face, from both eyelids, because both sides had pretty good cuts, pretty deep cuts. Israel was able to come and stop Rafael in 6th round TKO, winning the WBC and the ring super bantamweight titles. Once again, in a brutal fight of the year. The first fight had a round of the year and all that, and it was a candidate for fight of the year. This time, they had a round of the year again, and it won fight of the year. This fight was even better than the first. And here comes the third, where Israel won by split decision, but man, did he have to earn that split decision because he got dropped, came back, dropped Rafael less than a minute to go in the last round. Needed that razor thin close fight, won by split decision, and out of the 3, the third fight was the best because no one got stopped, and these two went all 12 rounds at a blistering pace, brutal, non-stop action. Both guys, anytime they hit each other, the faces are grimacing in pain, and they're just beating the holy hell out of each other for all 12 rounds. Rafael lost by split decision. Israel gained one of the biggest, if not the biggest, win of his career, winning the trilogy. Uh, in this fight. Now, both guys are up a piece, right? Rafael won, and Israel won. So, what do? You go for a fourth fight, right? So, those fights were so brutal, ladies and gentlemen, that Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez took a lot of their careers. It took a lot of their careers out from them. Um, it really took a lot out of both fighters to the to the point that to the point where Israel Vasquez had so much scar tissue that one good shot could bust open his eyes in the scar tissue. You know, his face, Everything was no longer the same as it was before the first fight, not even the second. Uh, those fights really did a number on both fighters, especially Israel, man. His face did not look really the same. A lot of scar tissue. So when these two guys went into the fourth fight, it was basically a shell of themselves because the fight only lasted 3 rounds. And when the fight started to get going, and Rafael was starting to land some shots, Vasquez could no longer take the punches. Then here comes the scar tissue. The eyelid was already cut open. Blood was pouring, and it was just a matter of time. Rafael was able to get the KO in 3 rounds, but if you watch that fight, you could tell that Israel was no longer the same fighter he once was. And after the fight, both guys were posing for a fifth fight. Like, okay, makes sense, but at the end of the day, Israel, Israel's body could no longer take this kind of punishment. So, oh no, Israel never fought again, and thank God he didn't, because he was no longer the same, and his body couldn't take it. So that was in 2010 when the first fourth fight took place, and Israel walked away from the sport, retired. Um, Now finding about his passing, that was surprise. I was shocked, man. Israel Vasquez was a likable guy, true warrior, one of the true warriors in the sport. And cancer, man, cancer is nothing to play with. It has no color, no age. Anyone can get it. He was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and at the age of 46, he passed away this morning. 46, man, leaving his wife and kids behind. Um, 46, it's young. That's not old. That's pretty young. And I'm a big Israel Vasquez fan to the point that I always remember his birthday, December 25th. We were in December 3rd, and he passed away just a few weeks before his birthday, 47th birthday. Um, Israel Vasquez will be missed. It was a pleasure as a boxing fan to sit and watch his fights. Um, he entertained me, and I'm sure he entertained many of you who are watching my video and all over the world, man. He is one of the greatest Mexican ring warriors to put on the boxing gloves, and he will truly be missed. He will truly be missed, ladies and gentlemen. One more for the road. Damas y caballeros de Mexico, Distrito Federal, Mexico, the three-time world champion, Israel, el Magnifico Vasquez. Had to do it. Had to do it. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host and crew. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, guys. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.